nothing they could do. 'Cause you can't lose when you just do you. So whatever you do, you make it look good. You ain't giving diva status, you gotta take it. There isn't a road to success, you gotta lay. Life ain't what's given, it's what you make it. So do your thing, babe. You can't worry about what the haters say. So if you're rocking a size 16, you could. If you wanna wear real long weave, you should. And if you wanna push off who's deep, you could. Whatever you do, you make it look good. Make it look good. Make it look real good. Make it look 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 real good. Make it look good. Whatever you do, make it look good. Make it look good. I make it look good. Make it look good. I know I make it look real good. Make it look good. I know I make it look good. Make it look good. Watch me make it look good. Make it look. Ain't no doubt I'll make it look good. Make it look good.
Yeah, just give me a few shots of your blood and I'll be ready. Oh, we're recording? Just joking. This is not your friendly neighborhood vampire, Kenneth. Happy Halloween.
Podcasters and internet radio hosts, it's time to take your show to the next level. Hi, my name is Sammy G, a 30-plus year radio broadcasting veteran, public speaker, and voiceover artist. And for the last 11 years, now the proud owner of Fishbowl Radio Network, the largest and most listened to streaming platform and radio station facility of its kind. 2 years ago, I created a proprietary system to help podcasters and internet radio hosts learn how to program their show like the pros, build a constantly growing and loyal fan base, and monetize their show. I teach this system every 6 weeks via Zoom to individuals all over the world. The Behind the Mic Masterclass is 6 one-hour classes that will finally take your show to the next level. Call today, 817-633-4880, 817-633-4880, and reserve your seat for the next Behind the Mic Masterclass.
Facebook, y'all gonna be tripping again. Come time out, you playing low rider and everything. You know, that's Howard Scott, who also is a colleague of mine, who gave me specific permission to play his music. You have the Howard Scott drop? Go play the Howard Scott drop, and then the next voice you'll hear after Howard Scott, who was playing low rider. That's his band, that's his group, that's his song. You will hear from my attorney, Michael Todd. Go ahead, play that.
Hi, this is Howard Scott from The Howard Scott Show, coming to you from beautiful Arlington, Texas on Fishbowl Radio. You can catch me every Wednesday from 6 to 7, and we play all this war music, and you get to hear some of the songs that I wrote when I was in the band War, how I created the songs, the stories behind it, and we start off with the blues. You have a good time talking to me, so tune in every Wednesday from 6 to 7 and catch The Howard Scott Show. We're having a whole lot of fun on Fishbowl Radio.
Jump in.
That was Howard Scott. They gave us the opportunity to play Howard Scott. But we have Michael Todd, who could never be played. Michael Todd, what's up, man?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing okay. Doing okay, man. We appreciate you for coming in. That was exciting that you did the first hour. You explained to us about voting and everything, about what we could be voting on. And, hey, that's coming up, this Tuesday.
Right. Yeah, this coming Tuesday, November the 2nd. Everybody needs to take advantage of that vote because you know what, Ed? They're trying to take that vote away from us. So we need to exercise that vote because if you don't, it will go. You know that.
Right. That's right.
You know, I got to admit, Ed, I was kind of shocked, man, this past week.
Why is that?
I'm sitting there, man, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening and looking on the internet, and I see this guy. You know who Charlie? What's the guy's name? Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk. He's this guy that I think he's one of the Trump type people and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And he's doing this seminar, and it's called Critical Race Seminar, right? A critical race tour. So basically, what they're doing is they're going around to these different locations, and all these people are coming in. All these insurrectionists, these Trumpsters are coming in, and they just going off about the critical race theory, things of that nature. Now, that's kind of bogus, right?
Now, it's kind of bogus.
It's kind of bogus.
You're going to tell us about bogus in a minute, but before we get to bogus, how's your restreaming? Can you see it?
I don't even have it pulled up.
You have it pulled up? I don't see it on here. All right, because I want to make sure everyone's able to see this and hear us. I know they're able to hear us live on the Fishbowl podcast, but we want to make sure people are able to see us on Facebook Live. So I'm looking at Michael Todd right now, and I don't see anything pulled up right now. I don't see it, Counselor. So that being said, we will take a quick break right quick, and then we'll be right back with you. Meanwhile, listen to these drops and on your radio podcast, and then we'll be right back with the Facebook feed. All right?
On October 31st, before you crash, you better make sure you're having a monster mash. This is DJ Rick telling everybody to have a very safe and happy Halloween, you guys. It's all about fun, family, and food. Do yourself a favor and watch out for the little ones. They're going to be out there doing what they do best. And as for you, have a happy and enjoy Halloween, October 31st, 2021. Get you some.
Belleza Cantu is an institute with more than 20 years of experience in the beauty industry. And as the distributor of a European line of products, we'll give you the tools to succeed in your profession. We provide esthetician courses where you'll learn about equipment, chemistry, and selection of ingredients for skincare. We wish to empower our students by giving them independence and professional growth. We'll take it upon ourselves to develop your knowledge to make you a specialist in skincare. Come visit us at 107 West Main Street in Grand Prairie, Texas. For more information, you can reach us at 214-475-8739. That's 214-475-8739. Belleza Cantu. Main Street in Grand Prairie, Texas. For more information,
Ladies, I'm excited to tell you about a new resource that features universal life advice. Ladies Life Guide is here for women who are working to reach all their life goals while continuing to find their own strength and voice. Log on to ladieslifeguide.com for inspirational articles and to follow all social media outlets for weekly posts full of value and insight. Also, check out the boutique featuring LLG positive quotes on fun clothing for the entire family, fabulous everyday accessories, and lovely home goods to own with positive pride. Stay tuned for the upcoming premiere of the Ladies Life.
All right, we got all of the technicalities out right now. Legal Standpoint page. We were on the Michael Todd. That's what happens when you have all this social media. Michael Todd has his own page, and then he also has his Legal Standpoint page. So now we know to go to the Legal Standpoint page and now share it to your Michael Todd page. So now, talk to me about what's going on now.
Right. I was telling you about this Charlie Kirk guy. Charlie Kirk's going around. He's worked with Trump, things of that nature, and he's been going around having these tours, these meetings, these feel-good, venting sessions about what they perceive to be this critical race theory. Now, we know critical race theory, this whole deal is bogus because they're trying to say that it's being taught in high schools, junior high schools, elementary, but we know what, Ed?
It's not being taught at all.
It's not being taught there because critical race theory is actually a theory that dealt with, it's a legal theory. And it talked about there being systematic racism, things of that nature, as it relates to slavery, things of that nature. But it's not being taught in school. However, Charlie Kirk has, latched on to it. All the Republicans have latched on to it. The legislature here in Texas just passed a bill about critical race theory. And it was so funny. They passed it at first, but it had to include a bunch of stuff about black folks, about the Civil Rights Act, about Martin Luther King, things of that nature. They then have another session, and they strip all the stuff out about the black folks. And then say, just the other stuff needs to remain where you can't talk about it. So that's kind of like the backdrop. I mean, did you follow what I just said?
They did what?
When the legislature initially passed the critical race theory bill,
Right.
the House was able to add amendments that said, in addition to what you can't talk about, right?
Right.
You can't talk about critical race theory. You can't talk about the 1619 Project, things of that nature. But the House was able to get into the bill things that they did have to talk about the Civil Rights Act of 1964, about Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. It was a whole litany of things that were included that you would have to talk about. And really, when I read the bill, when I saw the things that you had to talk about, you could talk about white supremacy, the Ku Klux Klan, the dangers that they have. All those things were legislatively mandated in the first bill. Well, Abbott didn't like that. So when they had their next session, which was supposed to be about redistricting or trying to pass their voters law, they then brought up the critical race theory bill again and stripped out all of the stuff that you would talk about that was considered to be pro-black, like Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Now, of course, the Board of Education came in and said, well, those things are already covered in our curriculum, so it's kind of redundant to be able to, legislatively mandate that,
We already covered.
We're going to talk about it anyway. But, that aside, I mean, you got to understand, we not teaching critical race theory, but we put it in the law to say you can't, right? So
it's just politics. It's an empty law.
Yeah, it's just an empty law. But the thing is, it's having effects now. It's having effects now.
It gets people riled up so they could.
That's correct.
Do something or not do something.
That's correct. It's getting folks riled up. Because when you sit here and you think, hey, look, I'm hearing about this critical race theory, and this critical race theory is supposed to be teaching Caucasian or white kids to hate themselves, to feel ashamed of themselves, to feel as if they're not whole, right? When you have parents who are listening to this, right, then what are they going to think? They're going to think, well, you know what? Whether the merits of critical race theory are good or bad, I can't let something happen to my little Johnny that's going to be detrimental to him, or something that's going to be detrimental to little Sally, right? So, you know what? Yeah, I don't want that critical race theory taught in my school. And so what it does is really just making black folks and our experience the boogeyman for this whole movement.
Okay, now this is what I see with that, and those are good points, but I can see myself being in a school come February when we have Black History Month, someone says, that's critical race theory.
And you know what? That could happen. That could happen. Because guess what? Just this past week, there's a legislator who's decided that he's going to run to be the Attorney General. I can't remember the boy's name.
Matt Krause.
Matt Krause?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you would know.
No.
Yeah, I knew you would know. So anyway, he has launched a House investigation with respect to books that are in the school libraries. And he has sent a list of 850 books.
850 books.
850 books that comprises 16 pages. And he wants to know, is this book in your library? How much did it cost for you to buy the book? And who's using the book? Or, everything about these books, right? Now, I'm not going to say all. Most of the books are dealing with black folks and their experiences, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you gay or lesbian or whatever, transgender, is dealing with those. Those are the primary themes as it relates to this list of books, okay? Now, I'm not just talking about crazy books, man. He's asking about the Confessions of Nat Turner, right? I mean, you've read the Confessions of Nat Turner, haven't you?
No, I have not read the Confessions of Nat Turner.
Oh, you have not?
No, that's by Mr. Tryon, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I know who he is.
you know who he is. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
and I know, yeah.
right,
but
but-
we'll talk later about the confessions of Nat Turner, because number one, Nat Turner didn't confess in that book. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, all right. They wanted to take away, he wants inquiry as it relates to the Toni Morrison book, Beloved.
Okay.
Which talks about slavery. You remember, everybody remembers the movie with Oprah Winfrey and all that kind of stuff.
All my life.
No, that's the other movie, man.
The other one?
That's the other one.
Oh, well, okay, never mind. Stay
no.
with us,
Yeah,
folks.
no,
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So the Toni Morrison, so that's a Pulitzer Prize winning book. And he's sitting there and he's looking at it like he needs to get some investigation. Why is this book in this library? You know what really confounded me?
What's that?
I saw a book on here.
Oh, you have the list?
Oh, I had a list.
Oh, snap. You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I got the list.
Read some of the books.
Well, it's a book on here.
Is Roots on there?
It probably is. I mean,
There's
it's
850 of them,
It's 16 pages. Actually. But we've got a book on here that is talking about the black experience after Martin Luther King, right?
Matt, come on, man.
And guess who the book was by?
Who?
Louis Henry Gates,
Oh, he's going.
one of the most prominent black educators in this country. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
His book is on the list. What would be wrong with his book?
I don't understand what Matt Krause is doing outside of running for Attorney General.
Well, but the thing is this. If he's trying to get his popularity up
That'll do it.
as it relates to that, why does he think that dealing with books that are related to black folks or gay or lesbian folks, why does he think that's going to be popular? Why do you think that?
Because he's trying to get the base out.
Yeah, and he's using black folks to be what? The boogeyman again.
Again.
You follow me?
Again.
So it's really disheartening when we see this type of conduct where people are trying to make, they're not trying to make. They doing it. They do it kind of on the sly by implication. Before, back when Bush was running, first Bush was running for president, they had the old Willie Horton stuff.
Right.
They had the scary black dude on there, made everybody uncomfortable, right? So now they know it's cool. It's not cool to just sit there and say something negative about black folks. Oh, he's black, so that makes him bad. So what we're doing is we're trying to what? Demonize the black experience. And it does what? It gets the same result. Because you got these people losing their damn mind.
Now, do you really think they're losing their mind?
Oh, I know they're losing their mind because I was talking about this deal with Charlie Kirk. And this guy decided that he was going to get up and ask a question at this big forum with Charlie Kirk. And do you know what he asked?
What do you ask?
He said, Charlie, you're a great guy, this, that, and the other, but I got to ask you, when do we get to use the guns?
He wanted guns to be used?
He said, when do we get to use the guns? And when people kind of were like, oh, some people, I heard a few smatterings like of applause, right? But then some people were kind of, taken back. And he said, no, I'm being serious. He says, we are living under medical tyranny. We are living under governmental tyranny. He says, when are we going to be able to use the guns to kill these people? Did you hear me?
Now, he was saying that to illustrate a point, I know, right?
No, he was asking the point. He was asking the point when we going to start being able to shoot folks, which is consistent with what we saw on January 6th. You follow what I'm saying?
So you think there's a lot of people out here that are not just talking like this just because it's just something colorful to say?
No, there are people out there that want to use firearms. They want to use weapons to try to get what they want. We just saw on January 6th, we just saw the Capitol overrun by people. I mean, I never would have expected to see that in my life. You know, I knew they were having that little rally that day, and you know what I thought? I said, yeah, they probably gonna go tear up some stores, you know, throw something through a wall.
I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you know, I thought it'd be something happening in the streets. But I never imagined that people would storm the Bastille at the U.S. Capitol and go in there through the hallways talking about hang Mike Pence, where's Nancy Pelosi?
That was insurrection.
It was an insurrection. And the thing is that the insurrection is not over. And when we hear a person at this critical race tour event who is asking a question in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, that has now been broadcast to millions of when can we start killing people. I mean, they ain't talking about killing the folks that was at the meeting with him. So who they talking about, Ed?
Talking about killing you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those individuals who are not insurrectionists. And it's really mind-boggling. And so, I mean, this country has really gotten into a point where I'm really, really concerned about this.
So you don't have any high hopes for this going on?
No, not really. I mean, I'm really concerned. I'm concerned about the whole tenor, and the legislature is, like we know, has passed these laws to limit the right to vote. And you know what? For every action, there's always an opposite and equal reaction. And the thing is this, we're sitting here, we being the individuals that are being targeted by these voting laws, by some of these critical race theory, type of activities that are going on that they're pursuing. And the thing is this, we have faith in what? In the vote. We have faith in courts. And if it gets to a point where the faith in those is just a mirage, right? Then, I mean, it's going to be it's going to be a reaction the other way also. So, I mean, I don't think the country is really in a good spot right now at all.
All right. I think we're in a good spot for a break, and when we come back, we will, we'll finish the second half of our hour with Michael Todd. All right?
If doctors told us that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, we would rejoice. We'd feel hope that we could live our lives again, get back to work, back to doing what we want. Well, masks are a ticket to that freedom. We can help protect others and save lives by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Until there's a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on. A message to help keep you safe.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Gail Todd with Townview Realtors. If you find yourself in the market to buy, sell, lease, or maybe you want to be a part of this hot real estate market by investing, just give my team of professionals and I a call at 214-675-9572. Again, that's 214-675-9572. Or you can email me at gtodd88@yahoo.com. With me, it's all about you.
That's right. That's right. We're back again, Commish Radio Show and Legal Standpoint with Michael Todd. And we just finished up right there at 5:30. Look at the clock.
Look at that clock. Man, look at that.
Boom. 5:30.
you would act like, like we planned it.
The clock management, man. That's what I do, a clock management, man. That's it. So that being said, you're not feeling good about this?
No, I'm not feeling good at all. Because what do we have? We had George Floyd that was killed, right? The whole country mobilized about that. And we thought that there would be a chance to get what? Police reform out of that.
Right. And
police reform is now in the Senate just dead, right? In the U.S. Congress, right?
Right.
We have the attack on the voting rights by each state. And what do we have now? We've got these two bills: the voting rights bill, the John Lewis bill, things of that nature. That's dead on water. All right. Then, after that bill was dead in the water, we had Joe Manchin, the senator from West Virginia. He said, "Well, you know what? That bill was asking for too much, so I'm gonna, water it down a little bit, but we're gonna, save the right to vote. And I know we can get some Republicans to come on board with this." So we just had a vote on that bill the last couple of weeks, and guess what?
That got shut down too.
Dead in the water, right? So no police reform, no voting rights, states restricting rights, right? Now we've got folks using critical race theory as a basis to do what? To try to galvanize their support to outvote us, right? Or to outvote or to turn those individuals who are reasonable people into a viewpoint that, hey, look, we got to do something different now because the welfare of little Johnny is at stake now. You follow me? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's, so I don't see it as being, as being real positive right now of where we're going or how this is going to end up. Then you have, of course, as I just stated, folks talking about, hey, man, when can we use the guns? And this ain't the first time that somebody has said something about using guns, right? You've had legislators, state legislators, who have made comments such as, we got all the guns, right? You've got all these militia people who've talked about that. And we have talked on this show before, Ed, about what? About things from the Department of Homeland Security where there are alerts out about the danger of homegrown domestic terrorists who are white supremacists. Those things, I mean, that's the state that we in right now. So let me ask you this. Based on what I just said, how could I be optimistic?
Oh, I'm not optimistic either. I just, generally speaking, don't. I was at an event, and it was a virtual event, and because we're still at the COVID pandemic stage, and this was at the end where we need to leave on a good note.
Right.
And they got to the part where they went around the room, and they said, well, what do you have that can bring us hope? And I was like saying, well, they need to make sure that they don't get to me, because I don't have that
right.
that speech to give at that moment. So when they got 3 out of the 5 people, and I was number 4 or 5, and they didn't get to me. But that was the whole point. I just, generally speaking, don't feel optimistic about this thing. I'm just trying to get through the day.
Okay, so let's pretend they got to you. I'm getting to you. What would you have said?
What gives me hope?
Right.
It gives me hope that I can outlast the people who trying to get me.
Right.
That gives me hope. That's the only thing that gives me hope. Nothing else gives me hope. I'm just trying to outlast you at this particular point.
Right.
That's the part I'm hoping for, because if it's a deal of I'm hoping that there's enough people on the other side, then that was lost on January 7th, on January 6th.
Yeah,
because that was lost then when you started allowing people that you saw on TV get out of a situation. Well, we released them from jail. Why? Well, because whatever.
Yeah, because I mean the whole January 6th thing, man, is just mind-boggling. But I can point to one thing that maybe could give me some hope.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take notes.
And you know what? It will be this November 2nd in the governor's race in Virginia. We've got the Democrat there. That is, what's his name? Terry McCalkin?
Yeah, Mac. I can't think of Macaulay. I said, what? Yeah.
Right.
I'm not in Virginia, so I don't know.
Right. And then they have the Republican that's named Youngkin.
Yeah.
And Youngkin has kind of tried to basically say, hey, I'm on critical race theory, banning it. He's trying to be like Trump light, but not as crazy, right? And so it's a very heated debate, and it's a real heated race up there. And the question is going to be, whether this whole, because you know what, this critical race stuff, man, they have fashioned this argument where it is scaring the bejeebers out of people. I mean, these folks are just, they just tripping at these school board meetings.
Critical race is the new busing.
Right, it's the new busing.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
And
So
for those that are younger, busing is when they bust African American kids to white schools for integration.
right, and they didn't want little Johnny or little Sally next to Ahmad. Right.
Except our names wasn't Ahmad then. It was like Bobby, Bobby Seale,
Well,
Huey Newton.
Hey, I was trying to keep it 2021, baby.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is this. So then it was like we didn't want them physically by these individuals, right? By black folks, right? Now we don't even want them to know anything about the black experience. Like that could turn them or whatever. But the thing that would give me hope is if the Democrat could win. Because if he does win, then that means that there is still a good number of folks who are not black, who are not Hispanic, or not Asian, who would still have a beachhead to say that, hey, look, this is nonsense, and we're not going to go for it.
I hope you're right on that one.
I hope I am too, because that's the only thing really that's the difference between now and when our parents grew up, right?
I think it's 1970 all over again.
Man, you think it's that bad?
Yep, I think it's that bad. Yeah, I'm just trying to grow my hair out again.
Get your afro?
Yep.
I don't know, man. You gonna put a pick in the back of it?
Absolutely, with the black power.
With the black power side?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
got to. Yeah, you got to.
I got to be correct, man. Yeah.
1970.
All over again.
Well, at least you didn't say 54.
No. I was around in 1970, so I know a little bit about that because I remember kids being bused to William H. Atwell into the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that, and I remember people in my neighborhood saying, "Here come the black kids," and they would have to move out of that neighborhood because the neighborhood was going bad because they were busing some kids into Atwell, so they moved to Duncanville.
Really? So it was a lot of white flight.
Oh yeah.
So basically, you're saying that before they started busing, your neighborhood was an integrated neighborhood.
No, I'm saying that it was all white till I moved into the neighborhood, and it was like one or two. That's not integrated.
Okay.
But,
so you were like the scout.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Your family was the
Yeah.
first one to
Yeah.
get over there.
Yeah.
And then when they start buzzing all the rest of the black folks, it was like, oh, this is just too
what
much.
it was that I heard what they were saying about y'all.
Because they were saying it about you.
Yeah. I had to play with them after I was gone.
Right.
But one only good thing about it, though, I was all-star neighborhood back then because, I got the black kid.
Right.
See, I was the slowest black kid in my neighborhood, but
Right.
when I moved over there that well,
Oh, you the man.
I was fast.
Hey,
had Olympic
Calvin
speed,
Hill.
man. I had Olympic speed. On Southern Oaks, man, I was slow.
Right.
On Riddleston,
Right.
I was Olympic.
You Olympics.
I was Olympic. Yeah.
Oh man, but so you think it's going back to 1970? So, I mean, what could give you some hope then?
What could give me some hope is that you wait them out. That's it. That's what 1970, 1980, nothing really dramatically happened. It wasn't like people like all of a sudden said it's 1980, things are going to get better because in 1980, who was elected?
Right.
Ronald Reagan.
Now, the thing is this. The one thing that I think that we have to do is that we have to realize that there are individuals who don't fall within our groups now, right? Mm-hmm. That are good people. I see videos, let's say back in the 60s, right, when people were trying to desegregate lunch counters, right, and bathrooms, right? You could see just like, man, almost 100% of the opposition was they were just locked tight in that, in that field of we're against this, get out of here, this, that, and the other. But as we have progressed, I think that we have maybe 40% of people no matter if they white, black, or whatever, that are good people that look at things from whether what's right and what's wrong, things of that nature.
We need what happened with George Floyd, not that, but the protests that happened after his murder to continue to be in effect. If that had continued, and it lasted a lot longer than what I thought it was going to last, because I thought it was going to last maybe 2-3 days and then everything go back to normal.
Right.
Except one thing happened that didn't make it go back to normal. There was no sports on TV. There were no concerts on TV.
Right.
There was no concerts to go to.
Right.
There was no other entertainment.
There was no work.
There was no work.
So I mean,
not other entertainment, but there was no entertainment. There was no work. So that made that the story, and that made that the event. That made that the thing. So we need, and then beyond that, it still happened to the point where corporate America said, well, we got to do something to slow it down because we can't make no money.
Well, you think they said, the corporate America said slow it down? Because corporate America came out saying, hey, we are George Floyd. We're with George Floyd. Black Lives Matter. All at the time. But for some reason, right, there has been some backlash. And, Trump was behind a lot of this. Because, from his little bully pulpit, rather than saying Black Lives Matter, then he wanted to say All Lives Matter. Then they wanted to say Black BLM stood for burn, loot, and murder. And so they just kind of took a situation that was good and then used it to make it where it was bad. And then, some people just kind of go with that and don't think for themselves. And I think we really lost an opportunity with the George Floyd and the protests and things of that nature, that we weren't able to get at least police reform out of that. And I don't know if we're going to have another opportunity with that type of impetus to actually push something across the finish line.
Not right now. You can't get it. I don't think you'll ever be able to get it. Not around these times. I don't think you'll be able to get it. But that's a good point though. But when we talk about corporate America, when they joined the bandwagon only to slow it down. But
Do you think so?
They didn't do it to push it. Because they're not saying it now, are they?
No, they're not saying it now.
They don't have to say it.
And you know what? And they didn't take a stand with respect to the bills that went through the Texas legislature. A few companies did, as it relates to this voting bill. I mean, because this voting stuff, man, is just really just asinine. You've had the most secure election ever, right? The will of the people, that was the will of the people. And the thing is it's a lot of people that I meet that are white, black, Hispanic, Asian, or whatever, that thought Donald Trump
They still think he won.
Well, no. I was going to say thought he was crazy as a loon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the thing is that for him to be able to develop a narrative that I won and they cheated me out of it, and we've had a man stand in front of hundreds and thousands of people and seen by millions to say they are stealing our elections. Are we going to let them steal another one? And when do we get to use the guns? I mean, that's amazing to me.
And what's going to be even more amazing is that and if Donald Trump becomes the standard bearer in 2024.
You know what? It really is. I mean, because the thing is this. And, the one thing with the Democrats, man, that, we don't push back enough.
No, they ain't going hard.
They don't push back enough.
They're not going hard.
Because, what they're trying to do is they're trying to say this, like all of a sudden, okay, the gas went up, right? Well, you got to remember, gas going to go down because wasn't nobody going nowhere. I mean, you weren't driving anywhere, no trucks were going, no business was going.
Yeah,
so
and see that, I heard one guy tell me, he said gas was $1.24 when Donald Trump was in there. Yeah, because nobody was going to work.
Nobody was going anywhere. So how can you say there was no economic engine that was going on then? So how can you say that was good? And the reason there was no economic engine was because he didn't take the coronavirus seriously. But what they're going to do is focus in on gas was $1.24. Gas is more expensive now. It's Biden's fault, right? Oh,
and one guy tell me that too.
Yeah, and the economy, it's all. It's his problem. I mean,
he said he did when they had that oil spill. He said, well, he told him to cut the oil spill off or whatever. I said, well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed. He said, well, they would have pumped it, the gas would have been lower. I said,
you can't pump it into the ocean. Who were you talking to, man?
Doesn't matter now.
Some guy you just ran into, or was that a good friend?
It was a good friend.
Really? He was a good friend.
He's a good friend. I didn't say he had common sense on that.
Well, wait a minute. You got good friends that support Donald Trump?
Oh yeah, it's one in every family.
Nah, man.
Don't you have somebody in your family support Donald Trump? Because I understand.
I don't want to truthfully say I don't know of any family member of mine that supports Donald Trump.
That's good.
I don't know.
20% of African Americans supported Donald Trump.
You know what? Now I'm gonna say I can't
20%.
understand it, but you know what? There was a brother I met.
Look, it's like 10 people.
Right. Two up. Right. No, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I met a brother one time who was a plumber. Right. He was a plumber, and we were talking, and I started talking about voting, and he started talking about voting for Trump. And I couldn't understand it. And I started talking to him about it.
Plumber's name Herschel?
No. But he's alluding to Herschel Walker. Yeah. But you know what? The thing is, though, is that the guy was he's a plumber, right? You know, the paraprofessional type guy. And that whole Donald Trump talk, how can he make regular folks feel that he is for them as a billionaire? I mean, I just don't even see the connect with that.
That's always a connection. We always love to believe that billionaires and millionaires feel our pain.
No, I know that man doesn't give a damn about any regular person. He doesn't care about anybody but himself.
That's true.
And all he wants to do is to utilize whatever he can to try to just cause mischief. You know, you remember The Wire?
Yeah.
You remember when Prop Joe met his demise with Omar, and he looked and said, "I got a proposition, man. Why don't I just go somewhere and you won't worry about me, hear about me anymore?" And Omar just looked at him and said, "Oh, Joe, you know you can't stay away. You just causing mischief." That's Donald Trump. He just causing mischief, man. Causing mischief.
Proposition. Man.
Proposition Joe, man. I don't know, man. Well, the only faith we have is what? From my standpoint, is coming this November. November 2nd. Let's look and see what these election results do. Is America going to surprise me? Is it going to make me feel better? Or are we going to take a defeat in Virginia, and is it going to make me feel more just kind of down?
All right. And you know what? We had a proposition for them during the first hour. We were like Prop Joe. We had 8 propositions out there.
Right.
So we want them to go vote.
Right. You have to go vote.
Because if you don't vote, you're just causing mischief.
Right. Or just letting mischief go.
That's it.
Oh, wait a minute. Just letting mischief fester.
That's it. Hey, we want you to come back again. They tell us it's about time for us to leave.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I'm about to, I appreciate everybody listening on Legal Standpoint. Remember the 3 boxes of Frederick Douglass. We must have faith in in the ballot box. We must have faith in the jury box and the bullet box. And remember right now, folks, now's not the time to vote for gun control.
Uh-oh. All right. Take care then.
Hey, how you doing? This is Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show. Stay tuned and tune in and be up to speed on everything in social justice, human rights, and politics on the Commish Radio Show, airing